Welcome back to FatalZone, guys. I've been leveling my characters quite a bit and all in all just improving the base. Ended up getting up to level 10 in the workshop as well as the HQ, of course. And my characters, I've developed a few more. Ever since I never really found a good spot for the Berserker character, or the Brawler character, I should say. I'm sorry. So I ended up playing around with this Hunter armor with her and the Boomerang. And it's really good. Her perks though are not ready yet. She hasn't had enough time in the field, and she only has one mutation. Okay, but Farah on the other hand is getting to the point to where she is almost ready to start taking on some difficult or more difficult stuff. She's not quite at that point yet because honestly the build and the way she's set up, I just can't get her to do a lot of damage. Even with the shotgun, which is fire damage based, and the dragon armor, I've got some revives on her, and I've used the revives almost every single run, and had to extract early every single run, even on regular difficulty towards the end. She's just, it's not an easy character to play. I don't know what to say, man. Speaking of easy characters to play though, Lex, man. So I ended up trying out the Firestorm armor on a survivor, mainly just to get the revives, to be able to take on some very difficult stuff. And the bat for level 10, guys, is nuts. If we go to the gym, you'll see that all the way down to rank 7, I have reload speed, physical damage increase, more physical damage, less hit points though. He is quite a bit of a glass cannon, but a revive should help, and also some extra luck and some extra AoE, and the armor itself provides a bunch of AoE as well. So the rerolls are a little low with this character, but you'll be happy to see that I have extra rerolls here, some piercing, some reload speed, 2 greeds. I could probably take away this afterburn damage thing because honestly it's not that big of a deal, and I don't know how many mutations they can get, but for the most part Lex is ready to go. Everybody else can kind of gear up. Well, now I could probably get rid of Ethan too, because I want to make a character that's good with shock. And so far all of these, I mean, outside of rerolls, all of the armor and stuff is probably not where we want. I got a little bit of shock damage and stuff, but I think all in all it could be better. The 9 armor is very good though, and the extra hit points and stuff, but I really want to go with shock damage, and I might recruit a character before I actually get rid of Ethan. At any rate, Lex is ready to go. And that's enough for intro, man. Let's go. So I've unlocked a few things. I think we should do the city parking lot because we've never done that on camera before. And I'm gonna go with experienced, even though it could be a lot crazier. I have seasoned opened up in the Great Forest, and it's actually really hard, believe it or not. So the experience level gives us some extra greed, but it also gives the enemies more hit points and resistance to all of these damages. Not that bad, but we will see some increased difficulty in general. So I think I'll be ready to go. I would have rather have some extra projectiles on this armor, but the AoE does a really good job, and we'll see if RNG is on our side. So my movement speed is a little low to start off with, so I have to be extremely careful, especially because this parking lot, man, you can see I'm starting to be able to do a lot of damage already, but when things start ganging up on me, it's gonna get a little crazy. So let's not take too much damage up front and kind of go back in to get some of this experience, and as soon as I get nimble, or a couple levels in nimble, I should be okay. So even though we want to get the bat up as fast as possible, I need to make sure that I'm getting what I would consider the perfect suite of weapons and skills, right? And frag grenade is in that. So outside of having an elemental run like fire or electricity or whatever, I find that frag grenade does really good. Plus getting long arms It's not the most powerful skill in the world, but neither is nimble, but it does do very, very good damage. Kusarigama I'm going to take as well, and that's going to give me the ability to kind of protect myself when I'm moving around or just staying still. And honestly, with this type of character, what I've been doing is just getting a lot of movement speed and long arms and running in one direction just to gather resources, and that's what I've been using primarily. We definitely want extra damage here. That's what I've been using primarily to get all of the resources I need to start gearing up and stuff. So it gets pretty crazy. There's long arms. We're gonna go ahead and grab that since all of the other requirements are there. And honestly, long arms doesn't give us anything as far as damage is concerned. Nothing, actually. But it enables us to level up a little bit faster, and that will help. Okay, now we start going for bat. And what I'm going to try to do here is just go for the Evo. Even if I have to do a few rerolls, but I don't want to get anything that's going to really screw me up at first. Like getting Rabbit's Foot, for instance, when I don't need it. That would be a big screw up. I think we're gonna go with Frag Grenade here, and I'd like to be more offensively minded than defensively minded at first, because we might have to take some skills as long as we don't get lucrative contract or anything like that. So I think we're gonna be okay. Gigantism is very nice, especially with the extra AoE. You're gonna start noticing these explosions are already taking up a quarter of the screen. You know, it's pretty good. And I could also benefit from a magnet big time if I would find one. It'd be nice. I haven't had that much luck with superior ammo as a skill. Like, it does bring up AoE and it does bring up damage somewhat, but not enough to really mess with, not enough to really encourage me to do it. Let's go ahead and take Frag Grenade again. That's just gonna give me more damage, because the enemies is gonna scale up, or going to scale up pretty fast, and when they do, I need to be ready to be able to do some damage to them. Naturally, if we evolve Bat, this is gonna be a lot easier because it's just so good at room clear. We haven't done, or board clear, street clear, whatever you want to call it. We haven't done a whole bunch of batting. In fact, you guys have only seen one run with me do this for the bats, and I gotta say, man, it's still nuts. Mag Pouch is the another addition that we want. It just gives us extra projectiles, so it's more AoE on screen, more baseballs or base bombs or baseball bombs, whatever you want to call them. More stuff to explode on the screen. And about the only thing that we're missing here is just more bat levels. I think the rest of the skills will just be kind of line up now that we have everything secured for the major stuff. I believe I do need one upgrade for Kusarigama to make sure, yeah, the prolongation, and I still need nimble, of course, as well, but we have prolongation and nimble that's going to be available right here. So as long as we don't use any rerolls outside of what we need for that, we should be okay. We'll go with bat again. Yeah, what you mainly want to do is make sure that you do not lose all your rerolls before you make sure all of the skills that you need are in the right place. Like, if you had to take lucrative contract here, that would be very bad. Okay, we got nimble, and now the only thing that we're going to be missing is a quicker reload speed. But everything else is going to be good, and with the extra AoE and stuff, it's going to be fine. Naturally, with harder difficulty levels, we might have to worry about survivability more, but I regenerate with this character in a pretty good clip. You know, I've been taking damage pretty consistently since I started. There's the prolongation formula, and the only thing that I would say about this is that I don't know if we would benefit more from the reload or the evolution for Kusarigama, but all of these things right now are pretty important. You know, the damage, the killer instinct really makes a huge difference, and Kusarigama with gigantism will stretch out pretty far. So I think we're gonna go with the prolongation formula. And yeah, you know, unfortunately, the way the baseball bat works is that you have to have nimble, which you don't really need towards the end. Like, you could just stay still to beat the run, and essentially that would be the best. But to have frag grenade and Kusarigama and bat all upgraded, that's kind of what you need. So I don't know if I just missed bat right there, but mortar is definitely good. So is grenade launcher for weapons, just because it gives us a little bit more. But you could see, like, when the bats explode, when the baseballs explode, it's really good. And look, I like Biodestructor a lot, but I'm not gonna go with it. I actually think Shocker is pretty decent, and Grenade Drone are both pretty decent for what I have. The good thing about Shocker is it just reduces the amount of stuff that gets into your circle. Stunning some enemies on the board is worth it. Even though it doesn't do any damage, I'm doing enough damage outside of that. If something stays still for any amount of time, it's gonna get nuked, and that's really where it comes down from. Okay, we still need, I don't know which weapon that we're going to take. You know, grenade launcher is probably what I want. Let's just go ahead with the build that we have now first. We'll make a decision on weapons sooner or later. All right, and we're starting to get a few more difficult enemies here. I'm not gonna take Kunai. I'm relatively sure Kunai is not the upgrade for me. Let's go ahead and re-roll. You know what? Let's take grenade launcher. So we have our full weapon and armor suite here. I have mortar. I have all the stuff for board clear and a little bit for defense. We should be okay. All right. So now I guess we can take long arms so that we collect a little bit more XP, even though it doesn't add to our power level directly. Getting more damage right here would be good. Really and truly what I need is some bat upgrades, man. I might start re-rolling a little bit here. Let's go with Killer Instinct, because that is going to help for everything. And right now, Shocker's not really impressive. It's not a really impressive skill at all, to tell you the truth. But all in all, it does do some work, especially on higher levels when the enemies get really dense too. Okay, there's another bat upgrade. Still need 2 more, I believe. But once we get that, it's all good, baby. All we're gonna need is a chest after that. Let's get another Kusarigama, kind of add for the projectiles that are gonna float around us. You can see how big the radius is for Kusarigama because of gigantism. And I have so much AoE bonuses for my character as it is. It's gonna get pretty interesting here. And we need 1 more for bat. And look at what's coming. This is why I told you we really need to to really scale up our difficulty, man. Okay, so let's go frag grenade here, but you can see the AoE now is starting to build up, man. Really starting to build up. Let's go gigantism. And these cars in this parking lot help a ton. You can see if they would have rushed all the way to me, I would have been in a bad predicament. And instead I didn't have to worry about that. Let's get the, there we go. Man, we got a lot of stuff coming to Kusarigama, mortar, grenade launcher, Kusarigama, and I think that's all I needed for both evolutions, right? No, I need 1 more. We'll get 1 more before we get that chest. That way, we'll pretty much guarantee ourselves one of the 2 evolutions, maybe even both of them. If it's a super chest. Sometimes you get like 2 or 3 upgrades in the chest at one time. Kind of cool. Okay. We don't even need that med kit yet. I'm gonna just not use that for a lot. Let's re-roll into Kusarigama, and now we can get. Ouch, that kind of hurt. This is when the glass cannon thing, you have to really pay attention to it. Okay, frag grenades got upgraded. We didn't even get our Evo, man. That stinks. Maybe it's because the chest spawned before we had levels into all of that stuff. Maybe it's predetermined what you're gonna get. I don't know. But all in all, I know we still need a few chests, so we may as well wait for that. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving for those of you that celebrated it. we did pretty good for Thanksgiving, man. We visited my parents and had some family time, ate some good food. I cooked a big old roast and a ham, and we ate good desserts. It was awesome. It was awesome. All right, now look at this gigantism, this spread, the diameter of the Kusarigama. When it goes to the evolution, it's gonna be huge, man. Huge and constant. See, some more projectiles would really aid in the entire destructibility of our build. But when you see the evolution go up with the AoE that I have right now, you're gonna be like, wow. Because I've already made this perfect build. I haven't shown you guys the perfect build because it's been off camera, but it gets pretty gnarly, man. Okay, let's go with Shocker. I think Prolongation and Nimble are going to be some of the last ones. Yeah, and I don't always take the perfect build. A lot of times I'll take like getting extra materials or money or stuff like that because I was spending so much for a little while to upgrade everything. It was taking 3,000 and 4,000 of the microchips, pretty much every upgrade, plus a lot of gold, and leveling up characters takes a lot of gold as well. Let's add more mortar. And if I'm not mistaken, on this board and this difficulty, there will be some zombies that shoot me. Every once in a while, you just take damage, and it's like, what? You start to recognize the guys that come out and shoot you. They don't do a whole lot of damage to most of my characters, but being that our hit points are a little low on this character, it's something to pay attention to at least. Let's go with Shocker again. And we've got an evac. Of course, we're not going to do that. Come on, give me a chest, man. I'm seeing so many of these large enemies come out and still no chest. But look, even the shield guys just get wiped out when the nukes hit. They just get wiped out, man. They leave behind a lot of XP. And as I said before too, getting surrounded by a couple of cars in this place actually helps a lot. You know, because enemies can't touch you. Now, you can get stuck. You have to be careful, but for the most part, it's really good. You can see most of the balls end up centering on me or very close to me, so I literally have a explosions going on centered on me for most of the game. You know, most of the time in the game. All right, so. Come on, boss. Any day now. Hey, I think this is it. We got the dance circle of doom. Maybe I already killed him. I probably already killed him, and it just didn't give me any chests. It will, though. I don't know if my luck is all that great with this character. Not really sure. You can see things are starting to get a little close when I move around too fast. Which is one of the troubles about having nimble. When you move too fast, man, it that damage will get in. It'll get in pretty fast. Let's go mortar, and let's see. Yeah, mortar again's good. All right. Any day now, game. You can give me a chest. Any day now. We don't even have frag grenade evolved yet, and still we're having absolutely no trouble on the second difficulty level of the most difficult area, I guess you could say. Grenade launcher. All right. There we go. This is gonna be good stuff, guaranteed. Hey, Kusarigama, it's not the bat, but a Matarasu or something like that. But now I have what I need. This is gonna stop a lot of enemies from getting close to me if I just decide to stay still here, which I will move a lot, but you can see it does like almost 70 points of damage when it goes through things. So it's gonna be really, really handy. Let's go with shocker again. And when stuff is shocked, it stays in that Kusarigama. This is why I don't know how much knockback it has. It's very, very little. And I've played around with knockback some because you can increase your knockback in skills. And I just haven't seen why it would be good. I mean, with complete range stuff like having the SMG, for instance, maybe so. You know, maybe so, but for this type of build, it's just not worth it. It's much better to just let things just stay in the spiral of death, you know. All right. Oh, that was one of the shooting guys. So some of them, when they get close, if I can get close to them, right now they're just dying immediately, but it's these guys right here, like coming on the right. They're like some medium-sized green guys. they're the ones that can shoot, if I'm not mistaken. They just like whip out a little gun and shoot you. It's not it's nothing to be real scared of, but it is extra damage. Also, right now you can see all the damage, and I'm gonna keep these numbers up, but I'm gonna take them away with an option once I get my build complete. That way you guys just can see all the damage that it's doing, and then we won't have to worry about performance, because the game starts lagging a little bit when you have too much stuff going on. I think that was a lot of XP that we just got. Shocker's full here. And another good thing about having long arms is running like constantly one direction. As long as you're on like the axis where a chest is, you start just pretty much picking up everything. I can't believe we had to wait this long to get the bat evolution, but you can see the game is starting to lag a little bit. Let's see if we could get the bat evo here. Yeah, all right, now the screen goes purple and we never have to worry about damage again. It gets crazy, man. All right, we can start picking up some nimble now too. So yeah, we have so much projectiles on the screen now that everything gets hit, and I would think that there's no way that we can die if we would choose to stay still. If we were to go as fast as we can into one direction, enemies will damage us eventually, especially with nimble, right? Because it just there's not enough damage for the larger enemies. With the spiral of death, so to speak, they will get through if you're going fast enough, and then when they get to you, they just damage you, you know? So you can't go any faster than what we're going now, but you could see, look how close these shield guys got to me. See what I mean? That you can get it to where the damage doesn't catch up with them. But one thing I noticed with some of the other weapons, the boomerang, for instance, is a little bit better by not selecting certain upgrades. Like, if you want Kusarigama to be close to you so that your damage is more concentrated when you're up close and you want to move fast, it's better not to have gigantism, you know? But it's not like that for everything, and I would encourage you, if you play, just to try, you know, just to try out some different variations. Gigantism isn't good for every build, is what I'm saying. It is pretty good, but like right here, the damage would be more concentrated up close, and the way the boomerang upgrade is, it kind of just revolves very, very close around you. I mean, it spreads out, but it's very concentrated up close. And if you have like a reduction in reload speed, the refresh kind of just keeps a spiral around you. And when it's combined with the evolution for the Amaterasu, or whatever you call it, it's nuts, man. The damage is purely stupid. All right, so that is 100% of our build filled out, and like I said before, if we had the option not to have nimble or long arms, we would probably be better off. Having reload speed is probably not quite as good as having the frag grenades evolution, but it it's a close. It's definitely close. It's hard to know. Now, once you get chest, I don't know if y'all remember this. Once you get chest and you're all the way full, it'll give you an evolution, and if you don't have the evolution, then it'll give you stuff like med kits or whatever. So now this is the peak of our build. I was wrong earlier. We didn't quite have it. Now we have the frag grenade evo though, so it's all good. And you know, being that this game is not very old, I would think that there'd be a few more evolutions and weapons to come out and stuff like that, because there's still some stuff that's lacking. For instance, there's no synergy to gigantism or grenade launcher or shocker. There, you know, you can get some different stuff. There's no evolution to mortar. You know, there's probably some stuff that's going to be coming down the pipe. I haven't really looked at the web page or anything for it to see the developers' notes or the roadmap or the patches or anything like that. But I would imagine that if the game would update, maybe there are some additional classes or weapons that coming down the line that would kind of line up with some of those. But for the most part, this is the build. Now, right now, we can see that if I stand still, absolutely nothing gets close to me. And I've played around with this, and I don't know if it's been on this this level before, but this build, even on harder difficulty levels, you're pretty much untouchable. For the next 15 minutes, I can stand here and not take any damage at all. You know, every once in a while, I might take some damage if I'm moving around, but there's things that you can do to make sure that you don't. Like I can get in a situation where there's two cars around me and very close to a med kit or something like that too, and it makes a huge difference. Like some of the biggest enemies are these large shield bearing guys, and honestly, if they even get in our circle for a split second, they're doomed, man. They just get destroyed really quick. What I'd like to find is a little setup with the cars that I was telling you about, like the one we found earlier, and maybe a med kit. There's two cars, but they're not at an angle. I'd like to find two that are at like a little angle, like right here. This is gonna protect me on multiple sides. Now, when the bosses start coming on screen, it'll make some of those yellow chests when I kill them, and those will have med kits in them, so I don't even need to go look for them. All I have to do is wait here. And now, if you're playing this and your game is lagging, by the way, I found out something that was really cool. You could turn off display damage, and you can even turn off secondary visual effects. If you just turn off display damage, the numbers stop popping up, and the screen just becomes a little more clean, and you can see what you're doing. If this would be incendiary grenades and stuff like that, it would still be kind of hard to see, but realistically speaking, even with all the stuff that's going on right now, it's not that bad. And if I took off the other one, which is where is it? The secondary visual effects, it's even cleaner, because you can see the zombies just kind of disappear. Like if you look up to the right, these that are coming in close, they just disappear. There's no dying animation or anything like that. It's not nearly as pretty to look at, but granted, you've probably seen the same stuff on this board for quite a while now, and the scenery doesn't change much when you get to this, which is honestly the 30-minute run. I think we've talked about this before too. It's definitely a little bit too long. 20 minutes would be perfect, because you figure around 12 to 15 minutes to get the perfect build. And you know, and that's what the thing about these I guess you could call them horde survival games, bullet hells, bullet heavens, whatever you want to call them. When you get to this point, the payoff is getting that perfect build. You know, that is the payoff. It's not being able to kill more zombies faster or whatever. It's unlocks and stuff like that, and we've gotten all the unlocks in the game. There's 50 unlocks so far, and we've got them all. So there might be some achievements that we didn't get or whatever, but this is it, and it can go all the way to the end. But I'm not gonna make you guys endure 12 more minutes of the same old. You could see that the waves are getting bigger here, and they still can't even get close. Nothing has come into the circle yet. So this isn't going to change by a whole bunch, guys. We're level 83 right now. When we come back, it's probably going to be close to the 27 minute marker, just to show you guys how ugly it can get and how well we're prepared for it. So we're at the point, guys, to where we haven't really had to move. I moved around a little bit just to get some of the XP globes off the screen. I think I just killed a boss by accident. Sometimes that happens. There's these bosses that'll rush up against you. They can only get to me one way, from below. But look, you can see when they start charging in, this is the thickest concentration of very difficult enemies we could get right now. Almost all of the zombies are giant, and a lot of them are the shield bearers and the boss type enemies that we've been facing for a while, and I still don't have to move. You know, I don't even need these 2 cars here, but it's an extra bit of safety. And look at the shocker weapon. You see every once in a while a portion of the screen just kind of pauses. Even if something would get a little bit close, the electricity, which you can't really see well right now, would probably end up shocking them to where we would have more time to kill them before they actually got to bite me. You know what I mean? And this is just, it's insane. Now, I will say that on higher difficulty levels, we may have a problem here. We may need to switch to something else, maybe a little bit of a different strategy. But I don't know. Right now, as long as stuff needs to be in melee range to get to me and do real damage, I don't have anything to worry about. Despite the fact that we're a glass cannon and our defenses are you know, low, and we don't have a whole lot of hit points and stuff. Because these guys, I'd probably get 3-shot. Like if I'd let something hit me a few times, it would probably 3-shot me, maybe even 2-shot me at this point. And it's only going to get crazier on the other difficulty levels because they start getting resistant to damage. But what I will say is this setup right here is pretty much perfect, you know. I think maybe, even though it does less damage, shock grenades and the evolution to shock grenades would be pretty good. Look, you saw some enemies got in. So toward the end here, it gets really, really crazy. So I'm just gonna get out the way. Look how much damage I took. And there I died because I walked into the green stuff. But I do have a revive, thankfully. I do have a revive. So for the next few minutes, or the next few seconds, we're gonna have to be careful. I'll tell you what, let's get some extra health just in case. Here I am talking smack. Just carrying on, not really big pain, big attention. I should get some med kits here too, I believe. Maybe here? Every time I try to look for med kits and I'm not wanting to find them, this is weird too. Sometimes this can happen. I can't move right now. I can't move, but I was still like in the middle of getting a chest. And I'm regenerating too, even though I haven't gotten any health. Also, I want to get this experience magnet just to see how many levels I will have at the end of this. Actually, I almost got all the XP as it is. So I'm level 265, which is definitely the highest I think I've ever been. But look at all the chests on the screen, man. It's crazy. We got 5 seconds left, and that is going to be the gist, man. Yeah, the cars did definitely help me, but hey, I am killable, you know. And you can see, staying here, we didn't collect hardly any resources. I've gotten so much more than this by moving around. But this build is not relatively strong for moving around, you know. Once you get the perfect build, the payoff, you just stay put and stuff. Let's check the infirmary and look all of the minuses that we got for staying so long, bruh. But fire damage, -7, we can remove that because we could probably get something better than that. But all in all, I think this was pretty good, man. And I would like to do some runs with Lyra. especially on some of the harder difficulty levels, and we're gonna try Farah too. And I don't think I ever showed you guys a really good toxic run either, even though really and truly the crossbow is such a bad it's such a bad weapon, man. I do like Quentin a lot too with the AoE spears and stuff. There's still plenty to show off, but we're getting toward the end of the series, you guys. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you specifically want to see, and I'd like to try it for you before we wrap up the series and move on to another title. But I hope you guys really enjoyed the gameplay. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time.